Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. So in this video we are going to be creating a list of shipping types. So to get started with, let's just go in here and create an empty select field, and I believe we can just copy and paste the styling at least for this one and just rename it. So this is pretty similar to what we did beforehand as well. We're not really adding a lot different here. We also need the label. So if we go up here and add it on label, and let's call this field, in this case, shipping types. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna rename it in here to select shipping type. And then I'm gonna go back into the checkout.blade.php file. In here, just like we did with the get address property, we're gonna create a function here called public function get shipping types property. In here, we're gonna return, as you remember inside the user one, we don't want to get it from the user actually. What we can do is we can essentially, in this case, just get the shipping type, and we'll just grab all of them. So make sure you import this class that's imported up here. Perfect. And in here, let's then say for each and say this shipping types as shipping type, and then let's say option and let's see what we get if we print out shipping type here. So what we have here is essentially, again, just a list of all the different shipping types. We only have one at the moment, which is perfectly fine. Let's output the name. And we now got Express. I also want to see the price of this. So we're just gonna have a money shipping type price. Perfect. All right, so with that done, let's pass through in here just shipping type ID. And also let's make sure this is attached to a model. So I want to go ahead in here essentially and say public shipping type, and I just want to attach this to this model here. So if we now go ahead in here and say wire model for the select field, and this is now gonna have to be a live one. The reason why we want this to be live is because we want it to automatically reflect the shipping type here, the shipping cost should be in here. So let's head into our checkout again, and let's make sure that we can now get selected shipping type. So public function get selected shipping type property, and then we just want to return if the shipping type up here. So we want to turn this. And if it exists, we want to essentially just grab shipping type. We already imported this. And we want to return null if it doesn't exist. So what I want to do now is I want to actually head into our system here and just say, I want to get the selected shipping type. So if we go ahead and say this selected shipping type, it returns nothing. So let's make sure why is this the case. So we are making sure this is a wire model and this live one. Inside checkout that here we want to make sure we can essentially inspire ourselves by using the variant dropdown. So we need to also update this. So let's just basically rename this here. So bear with me one moment. So if we call this updated shipping type, and then here we want to essentially always make sure that the shipping type is set to shipping type find. And we want to say shipping type model. Yeah, let's use that. So we want to have a public shipping type model. Make sure this uses proper code. So with that sorted, we now just want to in here return the shipping type model instead. And if that exists, we want to return it. So we can just instead leave it like this. That should be sufficient for now. So let's just die dump on this shipping type model. We can also get rid of this property here. I think actually thinking about it, we can just print this out here. And in here we just want to basically just say shipping type model. Okay, so this is currently not updating, so let's go back into our variant dropdown. What else did we do here? We also made sure that and what about the variant selector? Did we do anything else of interest? So it should work updated. So it should just work updated shipping type like this. Let's try to add in computed. Actually, I think we need to essentially say on shipping type. So I've gone ahead and created another shipping type here called standard. So now if you go ahead and select here, it should just work. It's teasing a bit because it's not essentially wanting to be triggered before something is selected, and because there's nothing by default selected, we run into a bit of a problem. So what we want to do is essentially on mount is we want to grab this shipping type, and we just want to grab the first one we can get in the database and just the ID of it. So that is always selected to that first one. And the same goes for really that shipping type model. So we want to make sure that that always is set to the first one as well. So no matter what, we always have this selected because we want to display this immediately as soon as the user comes in. So what we want to do now is we want to go in here and want to say this shipping type model price. And as you may have guessed, we also want to wrap this around some money. So now we have the ability to swap prices automatically between this here. So what we can do now is actually get rid of this here. And we can then look inside the card manager. So do we want the total to be calculated in the card manager? I'm actually thinking we can do that, but we would have to pass this through. So we would have to pass through shipping type, cost, and other things. So to me, that doesn't really make sense to keep in there. Instead, we want to calculate that inside the checkout model. So let's go in here and say public function get total property. And then we want to get this card subtotal plus this shipping type model price. And you may also want to add in taxes if you add in that yourself. So with that done, let's just say this, and I want to make sure we say this get total. And the same goes for here. We can get the subtotal from the card there, that's perfectly fine. And we're also using this get total. So using it here as well. It's also complaining about the get total inside here. So let's just search for this one on line 131. Oh yeah, and we may also want to make sure that we actually get the card properly. So we have a card property, so we want to say, instead of saying this card, you want to say this get card. And in here, we just want to make sure. So for example, when we're getting the shipping types, we don't actually put a guess through. So just want to put through a total. So the reason why this is not working, let's just figure that out. So in here we have this shipping types, which is working fine in here because we're using this shipping type property, and we don't have a get car property. So we just want to essentially say in here card, and down here we want to just say subtotal. Then we have an unexpected match. Down here, I believe we have one too many. And we want to go into the checkout one here and remove these as well. We want to call get subtotal instead of just calling subtotal. And there we go. So now we have the ability to essentially calculate the price automatically depending on the shipping type. I would maybe reorganize this into express being second, but that's only my preference. You may have a different one. We can add in multiple addresses, which means we're now able to essentially process all this data. The only thing that's left to do is make sure that we hide the email field upon being logged in like we are right now, because we would just want to hide it and make it be pre-filled. But other than that, there's nothing else for this tutorial, so thank you very much for watching. Please hit the like button and the subscribe button for more content like this. And if you have any comments, leave them in the comment section below.